Okay,
Okay.
go to the database. Okay, you are getting this option database, all those things. I don't want to do it now. So if I want to add, I can simply go to the database, add. Now when I'm trying to add, I get here, this is maybe second database. This is second GB. Okay, example, my free subscription, the same one. You want a blank database or any sample database? Example, Adventure Works is my uh, sample database I wanted. Okay,
Yes.
example, so that I'll get some data, right? Now, server is LAN 507. So on the same server, I'm creating one more database,
Yes.
right? So do you want to use Elastic Pool? Elastic Pool is, automatically increases the configuration. Okay, so
Okay.
database size. Okay, now I'm going to talk about pricing. We did talked about everything, but not the pricing. So pricing matters here. Okay, but I'll take in the next 30 seconds. Okay, before that, there's a collation. Okay, collation is a language specific settings or the characters which stores in your database, right? For SCCM, there is a specific
Yes.
collation is required.
Correct.
Right, similarly, here you have an option. Okay, now let me go to the pricing. Pricing is very tricky part. Okay, let's go to the pricing. Click on the pricing. Okay, pricing is completely based on the DTU. Okay,
Mm.
pricing is based on DTU. Let's look at the top level. One is a basic, other one is a standard, and the standard also has S1, S2, S3, something like that. Okay, here premium P1, P2, P3, and premium RS. Okay, for free trial. Okay, for free trial, you cannot have premium or premium RS. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you can't have. So only you can pay with the basic and standard. Okay,
Okay.
in standard also not with all of them. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's the high level. Okay, now let's talk about what is DTU. Okay, DTU is a kind of calculation which does by Microsoft based on the
Mm-hmm.
data transaction units. Okay, so how much data is you're able to um, uh, do a transaction. Okay, basically. Okay, and what kind of you're giving the performance to the customer.
Okay.
Okay, so if you look at here, you started with the basic. Okay, to S0,
Yes.
S1, S2, S3, P1, P2, P4, P5. Okay, P11, P15. Okay, so
Mm.
in this, what would happen is the charges gets you know um, applied more. Okay, elastic database is something you can go for um, heavily database, or you want pool of databases you want to manage, then you go for EDTUs. So that means it's not specific to one server. Okay, multiple
Mm.
databases you have, say example, database 1, database 2, database 3, database 4. So this database, out of 4 databases, one database want more DTUs. Okay, from the
Mm-hmm.
pool, the pool, one can get more automatically. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so you can that's
Okay.
called elastic. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so how can determine is there is a DTU calculator. Okay, so you can use this DTU calculator, how much disk space, disk read and write performance you want, how much processors, how much log you want to flash. All these are calculates. So how many cores you want I want 5 cores example. Okay, so so you have to download this calculator utility, and then do the SQL performance tuning. Okay, so if you do that, you would get the more information how to do the DTU calculation, in fact. Okay, but just give you to the core demo. Okay, say example, I'll talk on this again, once again, the DTU part. Okay, because the key is DTU. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so if you look at here, the DTUs, if I little bit change, okay, I'm getting S0. If I change S1, S2, okay, so a little bit it is increasing. Okay, and the pricing also changing per month. I may have to pay 1,48,000, which is huge, right? And this, and if you look at the database, also storage also getting changed.
Yes.
See, right? So storage is this, if you use little bit also performance wise, you need to end up that, right? So in our case, we maybe go for S0 basic one. Okay, we don't want to go and use our entire billing.
Okay.
So you can use whatever the detail you want, okay, and then apply. So what would happen is now I have selected some servicing plan. Okay, that's called
Mm-hmm.
S1 with 20 DTUs, 500 MB max my database size. So I can create it. Okay, so this would create for me a database, and one more database I get it here. Okay,
Okay.
clear?
Yes.
Mhm. So if I refresh again, I would get almost, once this is completed, I would get it here one more database. Okay, so
Okay.
uh, in meantime, let's go to the slides. Okay, because this should go under key slides. So let's open my keys talk around the specific
Mm-hmm.
database on DTU part. So we did talk about the web apps, right? App servicing plan. Similar way, we do have for the SQL. So I'm talking about. So these are the database plans. Say you have basic and S1 to S3, P1 to P11. Okay, and premium RW also we have. So what would happen is the difference. Okay, at least you can expect 3 to 5 questions in your exam point of view. Okay, uh, this is the maximum database sizes in a basic 2 GB, here 250 GB, here 1 TB. Okay, DT is 5 to here 10 to 100, here 125 to 4000, right? Point in time restoration is, that means if your database is down, okay, your DB can be restored from last 7 days. Okay, here 14 days, here
Okay.
35 days. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and you have a very interesting feature called disaster recovery. In a disaster recovery, your database is
Mm-hmm.
now located in West US, right? You remember
Okay.
we created in West US. I want this also database should be available in a East US. Okay, East US also as a disaster recovery. Okay, so I can do that. Okay, so I'll be demonstrating that. Okay, up to 4 readable secondary locations. Here also same case almost, but here active geo replication, active geo, this is almost the same. um, this is OLTP is a kind of memory utilization one, which is not applicable in basic and standard, but available in premium case. Okay, maximum concurrent workers are 30. That means 30 users can write to this database. Here 60 to 200, 200 to this. Okay, concurrent workers, and maximum concurrent logins 30. This is almost the same values. Okay, uh, and this is maximum sessions. So that means a user open something like that, 2 3 websites, and that will establish some kind of sessions in the backend. That is 300 here, 600 here, this. So based on that, he's minting money, right?
Okay. Okay.
So cloud setup and learning easy, but licensing also we should understand. Okay, now what did we talk from the last 10 15 minutes? We talked about PaaS. What is a PaaS? Platform as a
Mm-hmm.
service. That means the database is managed by Microsoft. There's no question of database lost or it's not working or something like that. Okay, that's called PaaS.
Mm-hmm.
But now, what is infrastructure as a admin as a service, which is our core method, right? So in this, how do you create? You simply spin up a VM, you install your SQL Server. Okay, That's it. That's the SQL Server. That's how it runs. Say example, you want to deploy SSM Server. You create a VM for SSM Server. One more VM for SQL Database. Okay, or in the same
Yes.
SSM Server you can install database. So nobody stops you. Nobody stops you to hey, don't install or something like that. Okay, you want some own collations, all those things. You create your own VM, very similar to your on premises, right? Because you will have full control. That's I mean, if you remember the first class, the PaaS and the infrastructure as an admin, that's a difference, right? You have full control on a VM with the applications and infrastructure as service, whereas a PaaS, uh, you can't control the SQL where it is hosted, and or you can't have a control on collation, or maybe some kind of internal component level you can't control, because it is
Yes.
hosting somewhere in a VM. We never know that VM is maybe dedicated to someone, or maybe shared to us. We never know. Okay,
Okay.
so if you look at here, the differences between PaaS and infrastructure service is the same thing. Overhead is minimized in a PaaS, but here uh, lower in case if you need any of the infrastructure support, it's lower in fact. Okay, and the cost
Okay.
is minimized here, lower, because you'll have full control. Okay, provisioning time is
Mhm.
minimized here, low. Here features selection when compared with your on premises, you don't have a control because it's a pass, right? Here you have full control as on premises. Similarly, networking, you can do it. You can go for high scalable in the both the options. Okay, these things are available.
Okay.
You may have a question now: can I have a VM with SQL as a template? Okay, I don't want
SQL
to
as a
install.
template.
Yeah, I don't want to install a VM, then download my SQL Server, and then install my SQL. I don't want to do that. Do I have ready-made VM with a SQL install? Yes, you have that in a marketplace. Okay,
Mhm.
so you go here. Okay, um, in a compute section. Okay, here if you see here,
SQL.
SQL Server with Enterprise Edition. Okay, basically on a Windows Server. If you deploy this, what would happen is um, you are paying actually for SQL Server, okay, as well as
Mhm.
to a VM, both.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, so
Okay.
you'll be licensed for that. Okay,
Okay.
deploying is the same steps, other than they just the SQL Server as additional, uh, case here, right? One, two, three,
Okay.
four. We used to have, now one, two, three, four, five. So one step extra almost. That's it.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Now we talked about the SQL Server. Let's go to the SQL database. Do we have the new database? Yes, we have the second
Yes.
DB. Okay. Can I connect to the database? Yes, you can connect it. How do you connect? So the server string you would be giving. So in fact, we did already connect it here, right? So if I do a refresh, actually, I should be able to get the new database.
Second. Yes.
Okay, and this has some tables. In fact, see here, because we downloaded the
Mhm.
we installed the what? We exactly installed the sample database, which is Northwind database. So
Mhm.
we have some
Mhm.
data here. Okay,
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
So that is into the SQL side. Now you may have a question that uh, let me connect to my SQL database, which is my local this time. So I do have SQL, which is in my local machine, connecting local
Mhm.
server. So this machine itself, a local, this my workplace machine has a SQL
Mhm.
server. Okay, install in
Okay.
this my machine. Okay, I might
Mhm.
have some databases. Let's have a look on it. Yeah, I have MyDB 8647 is my database. Okay, I have some tables. See here, demo table, right?
Mhm.
So there's a demo table. Let me see what is there here. Select this query. So I have demo user one, user two, user three, user four, some like something like this table is also available. Okay, so what I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to say is, forget about the cloud one. Okay, forget about this. Okay, don't see on that part. Okay, now you have your on-premises. This is on-premises, right? So this
Yes.
database is on-premises, hosted some database. Okay, you want to
Mm.
migrate to cloud.
Okay.
How do you do that? So that's the next class. So that's the topic now. Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So as simple as that, you have two options, in fact, okay, to migrate. One would be the simply open up a query analyzer, go to the tasks. You
Mm-hmm.
have export option, export data. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. See next. Hey, this. Here you have direct Azure one. One second. Uh,
Deploy
deploy
database
database
to
to
Microsoft.
database. So if I choose this, okay, uh, what would happen is, if you see, as I already told, this is nothing but your Azure,
Cloud,
right?
Azure.
Azure DB, right? So this is on-premises DB. That's how they color it.
Yes.
So from
Mm-hmm.
on-premises to here, simple. Click
Mm.
next. So what happens is, this wizard would guide me to. Excuse me, it's not taking. Yeah. Now it is asking, where do you want to deploy? Hey, definitely I want to deploy to the cloud. If so, give me the connection string. This
Yes.
is got a connection string. So if you have a connection string, that's fine. If not, you see connect. Okay, this would connect to my database, which is 507, right? With that username and password, say connect. So this gets automatically established the backend connection string, and this is the database. So what is the database name you want to give it? So in a cloud, what
Mm.
is the database you want to create? Say example, in a cloud, I want this time maybe my on-prem migration TP example.
Mhm.
Okay. Now what is happening is, actually it is running something called backpack. Okay, so backpack
Mhm.
is a batching kind of script, okay, which runs import export. First it exports everything to a temporary folder, here in this case, okay, and then the same thing gets uploaded to your cloud.
Yes.
Okay,
Mm.
so
Mm.
the first option would be, if what are the possible options you have to migrate on premises to SQL. One is using backpack, other one is this method, which is uh, export database to Azure, which is
One
this.
question. Okay.
Anna.
Yeah. Uh, Suppose we are migrating our on-premise database to cloud. Okay.
Hmm.
Assume that I had got 500 GB data. Assume. Okay.
Okay.
Which I need to migrate to cloud. So
Yeah.
migration part will be also chargeable or it is not chargeable?
Good question, Anna. Okay. A really good question. It will be chargeable, Anna. Okay. Data is coming.
Uh,
Okay. So it is chargeable,
okay.
Anna.
So ఇక్కడ సీక్వెల్ డేటాబేస్ బేసిక్ లో తీసుకొని మాక్సిమం డేటాబేస్ మనం ఎంత తీసుకోవచ్చానా లేకపోతే
ఇది సేమ్ అన్న మన
డిఫరెంట్ ఏమైనా
మన గుర్తుకుందా DTU. This is nothing but your DTU.
ఓకే
So
ఓకే ఓకే
DTU methods. So I can say go for standard. So maybe one database size 1 GB or 250, whatever the plan. Then S1 maybe.
ఓకే
Okay.
ఓకే
This is my own method of having the database size. So I can say maybe 100 GB is max. Okay. Later point you can extend it. Okay. You can scale up, scale down. I'm gonna do that later. Post the migration, we'll replicate this database to different
ఓకే
cloud regions.
ఓకే
Okay, now simply this is my database name. I'll say next. So this takes actually import, export, or backpack task. So this takes a lot of time to uh, uh, copy here and then move to cloud. Okay, I think I clicked on next, but still taking some time. Yeah, I got this pattern now. So are you sure that you want to do it? The current source is just the 16 MB, and your choosing is 100 with this
Mm-hmm.
plan. Are you okay? Yeah, I should have the free space also. I have free space. So finish. So now I get a proper logging what is happening. A log gets filled for next 5 minutes because this is very less in size of the database, right? If you have a heavy in a size,
Okay.
it runs, uh, it takes a lot of time, in fact.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's going. So this is actually doing in the temp. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so whatever the now post migration, I should get these 4 records with this table in my cloud
Mm-hmm.
database. This is my cloud database. If I say
Cloud database.
connect or refresh, I should be able to get here one more database. In fact, I'm getting here already
Yes.
database, right? So in this database, I should
Mm-hmm.
have a table, okay, which should come here, populate. It's not it, in fact, so because it's still running, okay. Post
Mm-hmm.
to migration, I should be able to see here my table. Take some time. Yeah, looks like it has done. So if you see here closely, everything is done. You can close that. Now if I refresh here, or maybe no, let's refresh top so that I get everything
Mm-hmm.
here. So here I got table, which is
Yes.
demo users table. So if I
Mm-hmm.
select top 1000 rows, saying query execute to this table, I got my all the users. And if I go back to my databases, I should see here one more database if I refresh.
Yes.
Okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we have a database. Now this database so critical. Think that this is so critical. So
Mm-hmm.
I want to replicate geo-replicate. That means currently it is located in West US, right?
Yes.
So now I want this to replicate to Singapore. Select the Singapore.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, South
Mm-hmm.
Asia and readable format. Okay. Target server is there's no target server. You create one more server to my secondary DB example. Okay, this should be unique, so
Mm-hmm.
definitely it will not be secondary LAN 507. Okay, okay. So whatever the
Okay.
server name you want to give, say example,
Mm-hmm.
select. So to this server, the data completely in a format of readable format, it gets replicated. So enable. Now what is
Okay.
happening? You see a very nice, diagram copying my database to Singapore database, right? If something goes to this region, okay, my data is safe at this location, right?
Yes.
So this is so easy enough. Earlier we should, use the replication, all those things, which is a headache for SQL DB person. Now it's so easy. Similarly, if I want, one more location, I can choose, one more location. So this
Okay.
Central US, okay, my target server. I can create one more server. I can,
Mm-hmm.
simply replicate. Or let's change my service plan for my current database. I can go for my current database
Mm-hmm.
plan from one service to another service, maybe, So S2 if I'm going, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I can change, so I don't have the, what do you say, uh, pricing is not allowing me to, change. But if I go down, I'm able to go because the trial has limitations, as I said, okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Clear?
Yes.
Till S1 only. Okay. So if you have enterprise license, you can accept that. We don't want to go there. Okay. So I did show the already the replication one. That's a geographical replication. That's good. Now what is DTU. Geo-replication. The database is safe one location to other, right? And this database also can be again replicate to some other location in a readable format. Okay. Active also possible. If you remember the slide, um, this one if I'm correct, yeah. Active also possible. If you have the premiums, basically not the these. Okay. That means if database is corrupted, okay, or collapsed at this point of time in maybe in US, okay, the data is already available here. Okay, but in this case we are setting up the readable now. So once the replication is done, a straight line is there for us, right? So now talking about the threat analysis. So the database, since we are putting into the what do you say, we are configuring in the cloud. Okay, there could be a threat, right? So you can audit can be done for the $15 post 60 days trial. Okay, the first 60 days is trial for us, so we can choose that. Okay, and whatever the storage you want get created, storage account. So a storage account is also getting created in this case, or we can use the existing one. If you have any threads, um, threads will be there. It can alert for you. Okay, SQL injection, all kind of threading things. This is very costly or very costly security design one if you are trying to do it in your on premises. So Microsoft giving you ready-made formats, example. Okay, so you can save that. You can send your emails, security alerts also.
Okay.
Okay, so this would go for that. Auditing and threading. This is for again this is for the vulnerability. Okay, if anything is there, okay, if anything is there here, you can choose in your storage account, say example. Okay, so I'm just choosing as LAN508 storage account. So I can go for the vulnerability within the any kind of vulnerability within my database or my SQL server. I can find out here, and the same can be these are the interview questions, Swami, in fact. Okay, so the one is the vulnerability and the security. How do you make sure that uh, it is fully secured, because you're putting everything in a cloud. So you would choose all these. Oh, sorry. So here no checks were done, nothing was done, no scanning was done. Okay, cancel. Let me. I can choose my existing. So this is basically more useful for this SQL admin side, right? I did not click the earlier save, so let's click on save so that it saves that account. Okay, so there actually the reports would now I can scan my assessment. So do you know Microsoft RAP?
Yes.
So more
Yes.
than wrap, what it does actually, the code is the same. Okay, Microsoft wrap. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so Microsoft for Windows wrap or SCCM wrap. Okay, or SQL Server also has a wrap. Okay, that is what nothing but the
Mm-hmm.
vulnerability assessment. Okay, it does that now.
Okay. So mm, instead of uh, running that wrap on our
On
physical servers,
premises.
it will be wrapped on in cloud.
Yeah, because that is also a matter for us, right? Running security and maybe configuration problems, vulnerability. Okay, all the things would it would tell you. Okay, so let's leave that. Okay. Oh, successfully executed, and it found two failing checks. SQL threat detection should be enabled. We have not enabled that. DBO user should not be used for normal service operation. Okay, so you can remediate right from here. Okay, um, it gives you more information. So approve as a baseline. So that would change your settings basically. Okay, so if you want more information, remediation link will be there. Okay, so here you can on threat detection. Okay, so if you enable this, it would change the settings. Okay, on threat detection, on all threats, all kind of threats you should allow. So save. So if this works, actually they fail to save because earlier also you got the email is not there. Okay, you have to
Mm-hmm.
give the proper name. Okay, so here you can give this and save. So this would save your thing. Okay, so that's about the assessment. So now assessment gave one. If you rerun, that should uh, that should actually change the status for the SQL, right? So if you rerun this, okay, so at least one should go off. Okay, so this is into the security side. Okay, now let's go to the masking. Masking is if you have multiple tables. Okay, you want to execute, you can do that. Okay, let's leave this the transparency data encryption. If you want encrypt the database, okay, database backups, all those things, you can enable this encryption. So it is recommended again. Connection string. So if you are a developer and you want to know what is the connection string to connect to this, okay, this is a connection string. However, you have to change your username and the password here, which is actual one, so that you can connect to the SQL Server. Okay, you can sync to other databases. Okay, um, and yeah, that's it to the database size. For more into the performance side, you can check the database how it is running. Okay, how much did use maybe useful, when it is running, what kind of actions you have. Okay, performance recommendations if you want. You can go for automation. Okay, so create index. These are the SQL admins guys normally do, right? DB admins. Okay, for creating admin, indexing, all those things. So if you want, you can create your own, indexing so that uh, it won't, set that performance settings.
Okay.
Okay, this is the one which I was, saying. I want to run some kind of queries. Example. See, there is a query which runs transaction query which is running a lot of time. Okay, total 12 queries found. Okay, it is taking very less account. If any of the queries taking lot of Dtu component time, okay, is it CPU or data or log file is taking much time, that can be find out. And what is a query which is taking in milliseconds time, lot of time. So you can customize that later point, that query fine tune can be done. Okay, these are the super secrets all these days for your DB admins. Now it is a single click.
Mm, okay.
So this is the, as I said, automatic tuning. Okay, performance. We talked about performance, how many processor required, how it is using the database load. So I think we talked a lot about the SQL database, and it's time already 10:10. Mm,
Mm-hmm.
if you want more, okay, let's go to the security center. This is another class. Okay, the first thing is
Okay.
security center should be enabled. Okay, so if you enable the security center, it gives you all the recommendations. Okay, what all the things we have done, because you're going to delete now, so maybe this is a good time to uh, check the security alert. Security policies, you can set it. పొద్దున్న ఇక్కడ కూర్చుంటాను normally you will be doing everyday work on security to see what is happening in your entire infrastructure.
Oh,
I don't know, it is slow or it doesn't like me maybe. So let's go to another server. Yeah. So if you want to know some kind of remediations, computing section, okay, prevention. There's no VMs. Okay. So add
mm,
computers. You can, if you have any computers, you can add for the monitoring, so that it will tell what to be done. Okay. Now I want to monitor my networking and analyze some settings.
mm,
Okay. So all
VNet
these are
test.
there. Okay.
Mm,
Still loading.
I mean, option clarification. It can help.
Chepana. So once we have enabled the security center, we have 5 recommendations. Kada? So
Yes.
and the storage low we have 9.
Storage 9.
Okay, so I mean whatever the components we used, okay, it is showing whatever the risks you have. So you could choose there, enable advanced security for your subscription. Free trial does not
Mm,
have standard, which is gives you all these VM access, adaptive application. If you want you can upgrade to this per month, it will be charged like this. Okay, but it's a free, we can go for a free trial, so that's fine. Just in
mm,
time VM. Okay, so all these are the additional will be there. Okay, so you can go for this. So per node it will be charged, so 15 per month. So this is not going to charge now. Okay, now, but if you have any VM, you'll have the additional threat detections. Okay, this
mm,
can be done. Okay, and I mean it is giving the recommendation, and also it is telling you what to be done. Okay, so default
mm,
workspace is not configured anything. If you want connect something else, you can do that. Okay, here data is not collecting, so if it is data is collected, you get more reports on VM, which VM is taking m- lot CPU time, because of that cost is increasing. Okay, or how much the cost may you may get it, or the security loopholes. Okay, everything you get it here. Okay, so these kind of not everything, but I can explain you. But if you look at the SQL has secondary len database does not have something. Okay, so let's see. It says that there's no threat detection was not enabled. Okay, you should enable this. Okay, so like that you can
yeah.
enable threat detection, all those things. Okay, you can remediate at the end, you're secure. So these recommendations directly from the cloud provider, that means it has uh, you know really good information, right? So, or recommendation. So if somebody comes and do some kind of audit also, you would be in a green state altogether, right? So these are the best practices which Microsoft recommends you to follow. Okay, so that you can secure your environment.
Hmm.
Hmm? So these are the security center now. Okay, security center is day-to-day job, like your dashboard kind of thing. You can detect the uh, security issues. So these are just in time VM access. That means for some time, maybe for 5 to 10 minutes, you want to allow somebody to access. You can give that, or you want to defend that kind of permissions, what he's doing, or you want to get more information on that, you can do it. Threat intelligence is like it's more you need another level of subscription kind of thing. um, at this point of time we don't have anything here, but if you enable upgraded, okay, basically for the next level of security threading, you get more features.
Okay.
So everything is paid, it's not free. Okay,
Mhm.
we'll again come back here. In meantime, we can see there's no web applications, nothing. SQL has some recommendations here, security auditing. Since we have allowed some time now, that's why we are getting all these now. Earlier, it was not even loading the data because it was just trying to uh, do the assessment.
Okay.
Okay, you can upgrade standard plan for 60 days for free. Then you get more advanced security. Okay, so that's it, Anna. It's 5 minutes to your time. Okay, 10:30. Okay, it's been long అనుకుంటా ఈరోజు. Hmm?
ఫుల్ గా కవర్ చేశాం కదా సీక్వెల్ డేటాబేస్ అనుకో
సీక్వెల్
మైగ్రేషన్ కూడా.
అవునన్నా, అది నేను డెఫినెట్ గా చెప్పేది అందరికీ చెప్తాను కన్ఫర్మ్ గా, ఎందుకంటే రిక్వైర్డ్ అన్నది, దట్ ఈస్ రిక్వైర్డ్. So database replications we talked about web application, we talked about web application directly from the Visual Studio and direct from their IAS, sorry, the portal, and database migrations, and we have talked about the security center. Okay, maximum things already covered. Okay, now we can, it's time maybe to go to Active Directory. Okay, so let's see what is pending actually. Yeah, um, we'll go to Active Directory then. Okay, tomorrow. Okay,
Sure.
if you have a time, you create a VM and leave it tomorrow for tomorrow session. Any normal,
Sure, sure.
and then shut it down so tomorrow we can start that VM.
Okay, sure.
Hmm? Okay, no,
Sure,
so that
sure.
it says 5 10 minutes max. Nothing. Hmm?
Sure.
Okay, now so tomorrow, maybe 2 minutes if I take it. Tomorrow, what we'll do is we create a domain controller. Okay, and
Okay.
then you will have your own machines, right, on premises. Okay, think that on premises
Okay.
you have your own machine.
Mm-hmm.
So what you'll do, you have a DC, you added the machines, it's working fine, users able to log in, right? It's working fine. Now all of a sudden everybody talking about cloud. So in a cloud you take a subscription, you have cloud also have something called Azure AD.
Okay.
Okay, you have users here also. Okay, now you also have users from on premises. Now on premises users want to access something from here, maybe a web application, or maybe some VM he wants to log in. Okay, since we have a site to site VPN example, they wanted to log in
Okay.
example. Okay, so how do you know control? So this username password should be valid here also. So that's called sync process should be done, right? So we do that. Okay. So that takes
Mm-hmm.
two classes actually. I can't tell you in one class maybe. Two classes is a good way. Okay, for syncing all those setup. Then the second class makes you more clear. Okay, and post to that, you can play with Active Directory, all the location. You join a machine here. A Windows 10 machine will spin up here. We join this machine, which is in on-premises to Azure AD. Okay, I think you're
Okay.
already working on Intune, right? So the same way. Okay, so you
Okay.
spin up here to cloud, and your applications, your web apps, your all the applications which are developed in your cloud should automatically
Okay.
open for the user.
Mm-hmm.
So this takes 2 to 3 classes or 2 to 3 days.
Okay.
Okay, so
Sure.
this is the next the class in a high level. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
okay, so here in Azure AD you have two kind of things. One is a normal users. Okay, other thing is B2C, that is you have a business, you also have a consumer. Say example, your company is Britannia biscuit company. Okay, you're doing some business. Consumers want to access something. How do you give?
Mm.
You have a company called labor company. Okay, there's a labor resource providing company. Okay, so these two companies,
Mm-hmm.
how they coordinate. So that is called B2B,
Okay.
business to business, business to consumer.
Mm.
Okay, how
Okay.
do you allow them also to? Earlier, what we thought is on-premises AD users, you're trying to allow them to access the cloud applications. That's good. How about business to business? Your company is maybe Tata company, okay, but Tata selling something. So the users want to log in with their identity, maybe a Facebook kind of thing. Okay, business to business. Say example, your company is Tata, this company is HCL. So they want to
Mm-hmm.
do some business there because you because the client gave the contract to two different vendors. How they manage?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a B2B.
Okay.
So B2C. Okay, so AD. So at the end, what we are trying to explain, what we are trying to do in the next classes in AD is how you are allowing user to access cloud application. Simple. At the high level, just to tell you in one word, how you are allowing either the users coming from Facebook or from your on-premises or from a different company or within the company, and then you need to grant them the
Okay.
applications.
Mm-hmm.
So there are
Okay.
multiple ways. So uh, the identity is servers are increasing, okay, but you need to
Mm-hmm.
control that as an active directory admin or AD
Okay.
or a cloud admin now.
Mm. Okay.
Okay, Nana? So that's it, Nana, for
Got
today.
it. Got it.
Hmm? We'll catch you
Mm-hmm. Sure.
tomorrow then. Okay? Okay, before that, any doubts from today class?
Ah, ఇదే అన్న నాకు ఫీడ్స్ ప్లస్ ఎలా అప్రోచ్ అవ్వాలి
అది
అదొకటి
నేను చెప్తాను
ఈ
అంతే.
రోజు ఈ రోజు డౌట్స్ అంటే నేను ఒకసారి మొత్తం సీక్వెల్ డేటాబేస్ ఇంకా డిప్లాయ్మెంట్ ఆప్షన్స్ స్లాట్స్ వెబ్ అప్లికేషన్ క్రియేషన్ ఇది మొత్తం ఒకసారి చూసుకుంటాను. నేను ఆల్రెడీ చూసి నేను డిలీట్ చేశాను. సో
ఓకే,
ఈ రోజు అన్ని చూసుకొని రేపు
షూర్ అండి. అన్న ఈ రోజువి నువ్వు డెలీట్ చేసేసుకో రీసోర్సెస్. ఓకే, ఇఫ్ యూ
ఓకే
కీప్ లైక్ దట్ అట్లీస్ట్ ద సీక్వెల్ డెలీట్ చేసుకో. If you keep like that, tomorrow you may lose around 2000.
చేస్తాను
Okay,
ఈరోజు
I think today is 7,000 you have. Okay, na? Right, Anna Marie. Bye.
థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Okay.